Monday to everyone in the sports universe. This is the AM Drive, and we are live here on Twitter and YouTube. For my awesome co-host, Aaron Crouch, I am Michael Carbellis. Aaron, how was your sports weekend, sir?
My sports weekend was good. Obviously, VGK took game one in what actually turned out to be a really good game despite the score. If you didn't watch any part of it, you would think VGK handled their business just well. But, I mean, we'll get into it in a little bit. But, yeah, overall, the sports weekend was good for me. I did happen to catch game two last night, a little bit of it, and I played a little golf, so I can't complain.
Oh, that's awesome that you play some golf. I'm proud of you for getting back out there, even with the kid, of course. Was the kid out there with you?
The kid was not out there with me. The wife was gracious enough, and I will say this, and a huge shout out to my wife. I will be playing golf 2 Sundays in a row, obviously including yesterday. But, yeah, she's been real great about that because I used to play. Those who know me, I used to play a lot of golf. And since my son was born, I think I've played less than 5 times. So it's been definitely a different change for me, but one I'm happy to make. But, the wife has been super just awesome in the aspect of letting, not letting all the things I used to do before the kid, just go by the wayside, So she deserves a lot of vice golf claps for those.
I was going to say, does she deserve a vice golf clap? Let's go.
Yeah, absolutely. I'll give her one before I take mine. Yeah, shout out to her. All right.
Head to MikeandAaronDrive.com to get awesome shirts like I'm wearing and awesome hoodies like he's wearing. Of course, a tumbler he just drunk out of. It's our shop on MikeandAaronDrive.com. I lied. We don't have red ones. That's okay.
Just a cup today. The tumbler is I had to wash it this morning because I had left it from the last show and it had coffee in it. So
fair point. Also, my sports weekend was involved everything sports. I was watching sports all day Saturday and Sunday. I caught every basketball game, every hockey game, every lacrosse game in both leagues. Oh, and I got added on Twitter by the Finals MVP of the NLL, so that was kind of fun.
I did see that. It's I've been kind of following your journey, so to speak, the last few weeks on AM Drive, or I'm sorry, on Daily Dive, and it's an interesting. Twitter's such an interesting world. I'll leave it at that, for lack of a better word. But it just seems like no matter what sport it is, no matter what sport that you're covering or commenting on, the old adage of, have you ever played, or you look like this, so naturally your opinion is invalid. It's just these lemmings on Twitter are just gross. And, I don't know. I love the interaction that Del Bianco and Dane Smith and Curtis Dixon, of course. But, I mean, even, I saw, Dixon really kind of stoop to that level, too. The whole making fun of somebody simply because, of their appearance or other things. But, yeah, I mean, you've definitely been carving out a nice niche for yourself in the NLL world. And I can't wait to see what kind of happens next year. So
I'm happy about it. So our first segment is also brought to you by Fanatics. Tell the people about Fanatics, and then we'll get into the Miami Heat.
I'll get to the Miami Heat. Just the Miami Heat?
Right.
Very simple, guys. Fanatics, you guys know them. You guys have bought from them. They're now the newest jersey partner for the NHL. All these different things happening at Fanatics. We are happy to be, of course, on board that train. If you want to support us and support Fanatics, all you got to do is go to MikeandAaronDrive.com, and then there's a Fanatics button. You click that Fanatics button. You can shop until your heart's content. They've got NLL merchandise like we talked about. Obviously, the final are in NBA and NHL. And, of course, NFL is coming up here right around the corner before you blink. But all that stuff can be found MikeandAaronDrive.com. Click the Fanatics logo, shop till you drop, and help out this channel tremendously.
Click the F. Miami Heat's even the NBA Finals as the series shifts back to Miami now. But I told people, and I think I told you on the show on Friday, maybe. I don't know. I guess the game one was Friday or game one was Thursday.
I believe game one was Thursday, yeah.
Okay. That's right. Because I remember telling people on this year's show that Miami just wasn't hitting open shots, and I was actually kind of disappointed in Denver's defense. And what do you know? Max Strus comes out of the gate. He'd go up big. And in the same half, the Nuggets go up big, but he only are down by 5 or 6 at halftime. Third and fourth quarter rolls around. Heat keep it close. Then Heat once again blow the doors open in the fourth quarter. Nuggets try to make a cute run late because Jamal Murray is absolutely insane. Jokic did his best impression. But one thing, Aaron, I've liked that teams have done against Jokic, let the man score 40 or 50 because he's now 0-3 in these playoffs, scoring 40-plus points. They guarded the others. They guarded those cuts. They double-teamed the guys that were catching the ball. They didn't let Jokic. They let Jokic score because that passing gets people going. I love it.
Yeah, and that's always kind of been with the exception of Shaquille O'Neal, that's always kind of been the way to defend a superstar is let him cook because, if he scores 50 in a game and you shut the rest down, you're going to win because you're going to beat a team that scores 70,
Right.
So Miami, obviously, no need to tell Eric Spoelstra that he can figure out a blueprint against anybody. I mean, he's brilliant, but it's awesome to see Miami kind of steal this series. I know that regardless of my prediction, I still want to see, a good effort out of this series, and I don't want to see a sweep, and obviously we won't. But the question now remains is what can Denver do in Miami? Because Miami's got basically a home field advantage at this point, home court advantage. I was going to say home ice, I was going to say home field. It's so tough. They got the home advantage. It's a best of 5 now at this point. They get 3 games. So, for me, you're right. If you let Jokic cook, which the question really remains is, letting Jokic cook shows how much of a star he is and can be. But what do you do if you're Jamal Murray? Like, what do you do to break this mold? Because Jokic had what? I think he had a triple-double, I think, in the first game. And I don't. What did he have in the second game? He was pretty close.
I think his assists were down.
He had 41, 12, and I think 7. I don't know.
His assists were not as much as they could have been. Yeah.
Right. So when you look at Jokic in this team, he's not only a dominant scorer; he is literally the facilitator, and it's basically a flip of the script. The Denver Nuggets did not make shots. The Miami Heat did. That is exactly what happened. Well, that's exactly what's been happening for Denver all years. They've been making shots. Of course, same for the Miami. Obviously, not in the first game, but Miami's still in that live by the 3, die by the 3 mode. I don't know if it's sustainable, but that's the way Miami wins the series. Win with the 3 and shut down the wing. That's what it's gonna take for Miami to win this series.
I also I think Bam's assertiveness was showed out in game 2 as well, because in game 1, he was good offensively, but I didn't really see him attacking the boards and attacking defensively. They got up in Jokic's face. They may have let him score, like we said, but it seemed to me like Bam and Jimmy were much more assertive in this game. And I think when you set the physical tone, then that gives you guys calling for why was that a foul on me? And you look at the replay, and Jeff Van Gundy's like, that's a foul. That's an obvious foul. So they roughed it up early, got in Denver's heads a little bit, although I don't think it's much possible, especially in that city. But it was a good game. I'm also impressed the Nuggets kept hanging around as well, because they're not going to lay down if you put them down by 20. Neither of these teams are.
It was a little bit shocking to see them kind of get blown away in the fourth quarter. I know it's only a 3-point win, but a 3-point win by Miami against this team, and this is not a knock on Miami, but against these Denver Nuggets in this iteration of them, a 3-point win is it feels like almost like a blowout the way they came back in that fourth quarter.
Yep.
The thing I have to wonder, and it's probably too late now, obviously, because it's the final, is just, are is Denver starting to get gassed? I mean, Jokic doesn't play 42 minutes a night in the regular season. You know, he has had to in the playoffs, and of course, he's stepped up to the challenge so far. But I mean, they literally run an 8-man rotation, like game in and game out. Like, is that starting to become a factor?
I can agree with that because you look at Miami's side. As you flip the script on that, notice how game one, you know, Max Strus, of course, he started hot in this game, but like this game, they relied on guess who? Duncan Robinson in the fourth quarter. Like Caleb Martin, I think, is battling flu-like symptoms or whatever, and he stepped up, only played 21 minutes. But it's like guys that you saw last series are now taking back seats in this series. Like Kevin Love finally played game two. These guys, not only does Spoelstra trust them, they're willing to take these back seats. And you're right, it's helping them not be as fatigued.
Well, you gotta look and see that you know, take the undrafted, you know, mantra, the misfit mantra out of here. You have enough guys on this team that can take over a game or take over a spurt of a game. Excuse me, not a whole game.
Exactly, 5 minutes of a game. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you need 5 minutes. You need 10, 12 points. You got, like you said, you got Jimmy Butler, you got Vincent, you got Strus, you got Robinson. You know, you got Caleb Martin in these spots. You know, if he needs
Highsmith.
Yeah, so it's really going to be a good question. I mean, obviously on paper, Denver has the better talent, but
right,
Miami has nothing to lose. I know I keep saying that, and it's a big thing. Miami has nothing to lose. So in this spot, for me, you know, stealing this game is absolutely 100% the big blow that may actually topple the Denver Nuggets. I mean, I still think Denver's probably going to get this series. I think a lot of people may be overreacting to this game, but I do believe that it puts a shred of doubt in Denver's mind, especially if they go down early to Miami in Miami, because it could, you know, like I said, if this series gets away from Denver, you look at this, Miami, most of this team is the one with finals experience, not Denver.
Yeah, that's one of the things I was worried about, is that I saw the raw talent with Denver, and of course Jokic, I don't view him as raw talent, I view him as great. But I saw the raw talent, like these guys are kind of underachieving, and Miami's got a bunch of overachievers. That's why I was like, I don't know about this too much.
So I was listening, not to take a detour here, but I was listening to a couple guys on the radio, and they were actually making claims. And this would be more up your alley than mine, because my immediate thought was just what? But they were making claims that Nikola Jokic is the best center of all time. What are your thoughts?
No.
I disagree too, but they did outline a case where I think he's already maybe top 3.
That's fair, but you look at Wilt Chamberlain and Shaq and Hakeem. I mean, those guys, people are in the heat of the moment right now, and I don't think I don't put media voted MVP awards up higher than people back then. I don't feel like it's fair to them, because the media obviously, because he could get his third MVP this year.
No, I mean, what they had him in a top 5. One guy had him top 5. One guy had him top 3. Obviously, they did. The guy who had top 3 was Jokic, Wilt, and Shaq. The other guy threw Hakeem, and I think he threw David Robinson in there too. But I think he's better than David Robinson. And I watched the end of David Robinson. I think he's better than David Robinson. The other 4, I can't make an argument for Wilt or Shaq, but
I think third is good. But again, Hakeem is so good.
He is. I don't know. I mean, obviously the titles matter, so that's where obviously Jokic is not there yet. But again, he's still not completed. But
right.
You know, they making a point of it, and I was like, you know, not greatest of all time, no, but damn, I didn't realize he kind of is already up there as among the greatest of all time at that position for sure.
I think he has a potential to finish third, because I don't think you get past Wilt's numbers. I don't think you get past Shaq's dominance in the finals.
I think he can. I think I can realistically make a case for better than Wilt simply because
you're right.
But because of the era. I mean, yeah, scoring 100 points in a game, that's just never happening again. So you can kind of take that as an outlier. But, I mean, Wilt was just dominating a field. Same with Bill Russell. I mean, Bill Russell's didn't even make this conversation. He's got 11 titles. So, I mean, I can probably make a case at the end of Jokic's career if he gets a few titles.
Right.
But for my money, I've never seen anybody, including Michael and LeBron, I've never seen anybody as dominant as Shaquille O'Neal.
That's fair. Let's leave it there. Vegas Golden Knights took game one. I watched this game, and you texted me something that I thought was very key. Yeah, it was 5-2, and yeah, Florida tried to rough it up because they got desperate at the end. Especially that long scrum. That was I never seen like a 10-minute scrum. That was like wild. And they wasn't even doing anything.
The refs lost control of that scrum at the end, and Kachuk with a few. I mean, I'm glad they finally kicked Kachuk out, but it was like too little, too late.
With 4 minutes left, it didn't matter.
Yeah, I'll let you finish the intro.
Yeah, I just felt like what you said, like to your point, I feel like Florida hung around, but something concerned me, Aaron, for Florida is their hot goalie allowed 5 goals. I know it's only one game, but Aaron, I don't see that from guys like who's that Vasilevsky on your wall back there. I feel like Aiden Hill might be the hotter goalie after game one. Maybe.
Yeah, he was the better goal in game one. To give Bob his credit, he only allowed 4. One of them was an empty netter.
Oh, so, that's right. I forgot about it. You're right.
Yeah.
Great shot, by the way.
The empty net shot.
It was a pretty long shot. Wow.
Yeah, it was 3/4 ice. Yeah.
On the left side too. Like, go ahead.
So Vegas, we talked about this in the beginning. I think, they're the better team from top to bottom. I don't see a hole on their team minus Aiden Hill. And again, I know everything I said about Aiden Hill in the last show. He's still take this for granted. Take this for what it is. It's not a scathing indictment. He's still the weak link on this team. And that's not me saying he sucks. That's not saying he's not capable. You're
saying he has the lowest floor of anybody on the team.
Yeah, exactly. Like he is theoretically the weak link on this team. The goal scoring was timely. They stayed ahead of the curve. I know that Florida got out to that lead. They didn't panic. They didn't do anything like this. Now, revisionist history, Vegas took game one very comfortably against Washington the last time they were in the Cup, and they never won another game on the route to losing in 5. So everything is just kind of, I don't love the fan base and Twitter and things right now. Is they're ready to just hoist the cup. It's not over. And you're right. 2.5 periods, it was a 2-2 ball game. So, I mean, Florida has the ability to hang in there. They have the tools. They got the timely scoring, in my opinion, too, in the first 2 periods. Excuse me. Good morning.
Good morning. It's the AM drive.
But, I think if this is the iteration of the Golden Knights in every single game. Now, I know that Aiden Hill had maybe the save of the finals. Everybody wants to say Braden Holtby. They were both very similar. Actually, on the same literal ice, the 2 most iconic saves I've ever seen in Cup final history. But if this is the iteration of the Golden Knights every game in and game out, they're not losing this.
We have 5 live viewers right now on Twitter. That's kind of cool.
Well, hi, everybody.
They're still hanging around.
What's up, everybody?
It's your boys. But do you feel better after game one, or do you feel like, man, we were still down for some of that game?
The time that they were down was so insignificant. Of course, you feel better after winning game one because I think the stat shows that it's like the winner of game one wins
76%. 63-20. Yeah.
I was gonna say 3/4 of the time. So. I mean, obviously, winning game one is huge. Same with like we just talked about with the NBA. I mean, you wanna preserve home ice. Like, if Denver would have won that game, it was status quo, and I'd be coming on this show saying, well, Denver did what they needed to do. Now they go back to Miami. It's the classic adage. The series doesn't start till the home team loses. Blah blah blah, all that stuff. So yeah, of course you got to feel good of this. Game 2 tonight, secure the home ice, get the 2-0 lead, and that's going to be the MO for Golden Knights. Panthers are fighting hard. I hope that they don't resort to this scab loser hockey like they did in game one, but it would not. I've seen this stuff time and time again. They've literally gone out and hurt players like Nikita Kucherov in previous postseason series against the Lightning, and it's just bad hockey. And then when they added Kachuk, it was almost like he's the ringleader to this circus sometimes.
He seemed like he was laughing at times. I'm like, dude, you're holding your guy's neck. Like stop it, dude. Play some hockey, man.
Yeah,
it's so boring.
The whole situation at the end when he finally got thrown out with.
He sucker punched the guy. That's why he got ejected, I think.
Stahl was literally holding the guy. Like Stahl was literally holding Nick Hague, allowing Kachuk to sucker punch him. Like that's just bad form. I know.
I lost respect for that guy too.
I love the physical nature of the game. You know me. I love that. But sucker punches and stuff like that. Like every time there was a stoppage in play, they were going for these sucker punches. And I don't love that kind of stuff in hockey. I mean, if you're going to do that, then the referee needs to let him just go and just skip the 5 minutes. You guys want to go for 30 seconds? Go ahead.
Right. It takes the competition out of it for me. When we come back, it's top 5 baseball teams in destination DeAndre Hopkins. This is the AM Drive, but first a word about safety.
If you're driving, please remember to use your car's Bluetooth speaker while listening to the AM Drive. Sports talk is not worth your safety or the safety of others. Thank you.
All right, welcome back here to the Monday show on AM Drive. If you need meat,
yes,
top of meat on top of meat, it's grilling season out there, boys and girls. Make sure that you head over to mikeandaarondrive.com, click the Agridime logo. It looks just like that. You go into the Agridime, they sell top quality meat directly to your door. They'll even sell it by the freezer full. They'll send you a freezer if you order the right stuff. But very simple. When you go and check out, use promo code AMDrive for 10% off your entire order. Make sure, once again, promo code AMDrive for 10% off your entire order at Agridime.
Woo! I'm making sure I get this tweet out, and now we're back. Okay. Top 5 baseball teams. Aaron, you want to go first or me? It don't matter.
I'll go first. Mine's very anticlimactic. I think for the 5th straight week, I have the same teams in my top 5, and for the 3rd straight week, my top 5 looks identical. So I'll get it out of the way because it sounds like you've got a little bit of a shakeup in yours. Number 1, obviously, is Tampa. Number 2, Texas. Run differential for them has been key and clutch. They've been great this year so far. Atlanta, number 3, although I'm not as impressed with them lately as I have. Almost getting swept by the A's was a big indicator for me that they may be trending downward for me. The Dodgers, number 4, rounding it out. I know they don't lead their division, but I think they're like half a game or one game. One game.
The Diamondbacks.
What?
With the Diamondbacks in front, yeah.
Yeah, with the Diamondbacks, I think a half game or a game in front. I thought about actually putting the Diamondbacks in this, but ultimately I sided with Baltimore because even though they're not leading their division either, they actually have a better record than both the Dodgers and the Diamondbacks, and I believe they're in the hardest division in baseball.
It is now tied. I just checked it. They're both 35 and 25.
The Diamondbacks and Dodgers?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I must have missed something. But I thought they were they must have the tiebreaker, whatever it is. But yeah, Dodgers are a tough team.
There you go. All right, so I have 3 teams that almost made my list. Falling out are the Dodgers. I did this list on Monday, like last Monday when you weren't here, so I'm kind of like piggybacking off that. Diamondbacks are number 7, and Orioles have fallen out as well. They're number 6. Although they did just sweep Toronto and take 2 out of 3 against the Yankees, but yeah. Their plus 30 is actually 9th in the league, and everyone else above them has got a top 5, I believe, in run differential. Number 5 for me, the Minnesota Twins, who are plus 45. And did you know allowing 222 runs is 2nd best in the major leagues? So they jumped the Orioles for me, and they lead the AL Central. Although I do put a lot of stock in the AL East teams, I feel like I had to put the Twins above them because of that insane defense. Number 4, the Atlanta Braves, who are 20 and 10 on the road and a plus 63. But like you said, they are tailing off. So they could be number 5 next week unless they step it up. Number 3, those cheating bastards, those Houston Astros, plus 58 and 209 runs allowed is actually best in Major League by 13. Obviously, the Twins were number 2. But number 2, the Rays are above them because they're plus 122. They're 26 and 6 at home, and I value AL East above Was it AL Central, wherever the Astros, or the AL West?
The Astros on the West, yeah.
Yeah. And number one, a team that I put number 2 last week, and I've told you guys they were going to get there, and now they're plus 152, which is like a clear 30 runs above the Rays, and they have the best pitching, even without Jacob deGrom, who is probably the Anthony Davis of Major League Baseball at this point. I'm going to go with the Rangers at number 1.
I don't hate that thought of putting the Rangers at number 1. I don't know, the Rays with 40, first to 40, it's tough. But you know what? I mean, the Rays are tailing off a little bit. They're 6-4 last 10. I get it. They're not as great away from the Trop as they should be. I can understand that. I mean, Texas is playing absolutely incredible in baseball. You're right. I don't hate that list. I am shocked that you have the Minnesota Twins at what, number 3?
Yeah. No, number 4.
Number 4?
Number 5, I thought. Number 5.
Okay, all right. I don't hate that as much. I mean, it's just shocking to see that like they're in over a team like Baltimore. I mean, you're talking about, I know they're second in runs allowed, but I mean, you're talking about a 40 run difference. I get it. I don't know. I think Baltimore, and I'm not just saying because of the AL East. I mean, look, the AL East is just insane. Look, I know I'm a Boston Red Sox homer, but they're literally 30-29. The Minnesota Twins are 31-29.
Right.
Guess who's in first place and guess who's in last place?
Exactly.
It's insane, the AL East. It's insane.
I do want to mention, for the Rangers' sake, Nathan Eovaldi is Uvalde, yeah, 2.60 ERA is a career best for him. He's played like 11 years or whatever. Jacob deGrom was incredible, but of course he's on the IL right now. And their relief pitcher or saver, Will Smith, has 9 saves last time I checked, and he had 100 in his career.
Yeah, Will Smith, the other Will Smith.
Right, the white Will Smith.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
You don't want to say that, but yeah.
I think there's actually a catcher in the league named Will Smith as well. So
keep my wife's name out your mouth. Right.
Keep that home run out. I don't know. I got nothing.
That's good. All right, destination DeAndre Hopkins. I actually played this game last Monday, so I'm glad you're here for this now.
Oh, I didn't even know that.
Well, my take on this was for cap space. I know he wants like $18 million, and if that's a thing, that means the Colts have $23.8 million. I'm just saying.
You might have made my list. You never know.
Cardinals $20.9 million, and I chose the Jets, who are just at the $18 million cap remaining threshold.
Well, good. Since you used cap space, I took it in a little bit more of a fit narrative.
Right.
Fit narrative and wish list kind of thing here. But, it's funny to say because I would have said there's no way D-Hop's getting $18 million, but then Odell got 15. So anything is possible. But if I'm looking at my top 5 for DeAndre Hopkins destinations, this is a combination of who needs them or who could use them, combined with a little bit of like selfish nature for me. Where would I want to see him? Combined with, fits basically. So
right.
Take the salary cap out of the question. And these guys might be able to get him in under the salary cap as well. So I'm going to go 5-1. Starting with number 5 is the defending champion Kansas City Chiefs.
Yeah, that's good. That's a good one.
They obviously, they don't have a number 1 wide receiver. I don't know if DeAndre Hopkins is still a number 1 wide receiver. He's
on that team.
Well, obviously on that team he would be, but I'm saying like this is a guy who could be, depending on the fit, be the number 1 or the number 4, depending on where he goes as far as targets. Because I have another one where he possibly is number 3 or 4. So number 4 of my top 5 is New Orleans. I thought pairing him with a guy like Derek Carr, you got Kamara in the backfield.
Michael defense, yeah.
We'll see what happens with Michael Thomas. Chris Olave had a great rookie campaign. That'd be a good big 3 if Michael Thomas can get his head on right. Number 3 for me is Buffalo. It's Stephon Diggs, obviously. Gabe
Not
Davis.
it.
Not it. What, the destination or he?
No, Diggs. I've lost a lot of faith in Diggs. He doesn't show up in big games. But go ahead.
Well, he might show up better if he's got D-Hop on the other side, commanding some other presence. So Gabe Davis kind of took a step back after that big playoff game. Hopefully, they can create another big three there. We'll put D-Hop in the slots. Number 2 for me was that other one where I thought maybe he'd be a third or fourth option, and that's the San Francisco 49ers.
Mm-hmm.
You put him in there, pop Brandon Ayuk in the slot. You got Debo, Ayuk. You got D-Hop. You got Kittle. You got McCaffrey. Who's going to play quarterback for this team? But you definitely have the weapons. You're not lacking that. And number 1, reuniting with his boy, Deshaun Watson, the Cleveland Browns. DeAndre Hopkins heading to Cleveland to play with Deshaun. Mari Cooper there as well. That could create a formidable. So many good teams in the AFC. It's so sad. Well, I don't know about sad, but it's so crazy how big and how good the AFC is versus the NFC this year.
Agreed. And as for your Browns point, I think people are sleeping on Deshaun Watson. If you're looking at like where he's being drafted in fantasy, I'm like, boy, people are stupid. Have we forgotten that he just had a down year last year? And it wasn't
a down year. He just come back from like almost 2 years off.
Right. And last time we saw him, he was one of the best in the league.
Yeah, it obviously goes just to see how he comes back to form. But yeah, if you're looking at what he's done before, it's how do you sleep on Deshaun Watson? I think
how do you sleep with Deshaun Watson? I'm kidding.
I feel like they have another receiver there in Cleveland. It's just the name's escaping me as far as like, I don't know. I'm going to look it up real quick. They could create a nice three-headed monster with.
Well, it's not Jarvis Landry because he's gone.
No, Landry was gone. Elijah Moore. That's who they took.
Oh, that's right. They signed him or whatever?
Yeah, so they could create a nice three-headed monster there too. So
that's fair. Take us home, but do it safely.
That's going to do it here for us on this Monday edition. Hope you guys enjoyed it. You can catch the replay, as always, on our YouTube page. All the stuff you need, our shop, sponsors, socials, and YouTube are all located on MikeandAaronDrive.com. So until Friday, Fantasy Draft Friday, we will see you guys. Enjoy your sports week. Hopefully don't take your work week too seriously. And, of course, we'll see you guys this Friday.
Drive safe.